Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back.
Welcome back, Bumble Bitches.
Somebody on YouTube said, oh my God, she said Bumble Bitches, it's back.
Bumble Bitches just feels right.
Yeah. It's.
I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I'm very excited for it.
Are you?
I am.
One more day, babe. One more day.
I think I'm going to get bangs or curtain bangs, something. My bangs are down to here now. So I don't like what they're doing to my face. I need something to frame, or I need the bangs.
So you're going to bring it to like your jawline?
If I do a curtain bang, it's going to be like, I don't know, curtain bang.
Just not Betty bangs, right?
Betty bangs are like up here.
But either way, the forehead thing.
Yeah. How do you feel about bangs?
I would rather you not ever do that.
Why?
I don't like them.
Okay, noted. I'll do curtain bangs.
Yeah.
It'll be off to the side.
My favorite ever Peaches look was the split dye, space buns, things.
With bangs.
Those.
But it had bangs.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. It might have.
It did.
I never focused on that. I was focused on the knobs.
Yeah. I'd have to cut my hair way short to be able to do those again.
I'm not asking you to do that.
Okay.
I don't have a whole lot of input when it comes to your hair, because that chick fried your hair and it made me feel like shit. Now I just want you to do what makes you happy so that I'm not responsible if something goes wrong. And I know that that wasn't my fault. It was solely somebody else's doing, but it still made me feel like shit. So.
Yeah. Are you comparing me to what I looked like back then?
No, you asked me a question and I answered you. You were asking me about your bangs.
Right.
And I just told you my favorite Peaches bangs look was that specific look.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't really have an opinion on your hair because that bitch fucked your hair up.
Yeah.
And I was the one who suggested that you do it. So like trauma.
Okay. I'm just making sure because you bring up my split dye a lot.
That is
and it makes me feel like you're comparing my beauty to them.
No, that's going to always be my favorite look. That's what you had when we first started talking and first year and a half of the podcast. And like, that's just one of those things that will always be there for me.
Okay.
So you got any housekeeping? I see you got a table behind you over there.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to fill it.
Just sitting back there. Nothing on it. Just hanging out.
It took forever to blow dry my hair today. Excuse me for a moment, guys.
No, you don't have to do it right now.
No?
I'm just giving you shit. Babe, I'm just playing with you.
For today, this is actually only for the people who are watching us live from our Patreon. If you guys haven't seen the tag, I did an everyone tag this morning in the book club section, and we are voting for April's book of the month. So if you have not voted and you are interested in being part of the book club, I would highly recommend going and doing so. I would love for you guys to be a part of the selection process. I don't want this to just be a dictatorship. We all have a say.
I have to go back to the hair thing. I can't let this go. Your big, wild, savage daughter, wild woman hair that you have is also a big fan. Like, big fan of that too.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Because it's, I don't want to say like a lion's mane because it's not like a lion's mane, but it's disheveled. It's the only way I can think.
You want to look at my kneecap for that?
Yeah. Yep. We really are, when it comes to men, there are things that, like, I know women don't get it because you guys are caught up on your nails and your hair and fancy outfits and Louis bags. I mean, not necessarily you, but just in general, like, you guys are so worried about the perception of the world around you. And when it comes to us, that's never the case. You in comfy clothing, disheveled hair, messy buns, long day with fucking stains on your clothes. Like, that's the sexiest thing in the world to me because it's who you are. You know what I mean? Like, that's my wife that did all of these things today and she's exhausted and she still has time to love me. And like, when you wake up and, you're still in your pajamas or you're walking around in one of my baggy t-shirts with the bottom of your butt cheek sticking out of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's my woman. That is truly sexy to me. And I think that a lot of men equate that attraction the same way to women. We don't have that. You need to be done up and Botoxed and fucking, all of that shit that is going on in society right now. Why are you crying?
Because this is the second day in a row that you have read my mind.
Oh.
And like you have just hit the nail on my insecurities and just quashed them without me even having to tell you what's going on with me.
Oh, well, we're in tune. I'll wait until you get caught up over there, and then we'll continue housekeeping. Guys, we have, while she's pulling herself together, if you are a member of the church this morning, the church Discord got a Awaken Conscious t-shirt posted. We have them in 4 colors: black, charcoal, gray, orange, and pink. I just ordered our samples, but the shirts are live on the church server, and you can find them on the tobebetter.com website if you are interested in supporting our church by buying a t-shirt. Do you have other housekeeping?
What else do I have for housekeeping? Nothing.
I have a whole lot.
Yeah.
So we just got back from the men's retreat yesterday afternoon, which really took it out of me. I almost fell asleep on the couch probably 4 times yesterday before I finally actually fell asleep on the couch for about an hour. And was in bed stupid late because of it. Men's retreat went really well. You threw down in the kitchen. Deadeye showed up. He helped cook. And he helped, me with the seminars and things like that. That was a really good time. 20 men. It was 22 people total. The 2 of us and 20 other people that were there. And I got to be honest. I told everybody this. I was very honest with them all Friday night. I was like, guys, I got to be honest. I didn't want to do this. Like, I've been dreading this for about a week now. Like even on the ride here, I was telling Peaches, like, I don't want to fucking do this. And I was like, and it's not because I don't want to help you, and it's not because I don't want to, further what we're doing. I just feel like there's going to be a whole lot of you who are here only because your woman made you come, right? Like, because we have seen at the couples retreats, a lot of the people that end up coming, and the women are very invested and the men are very disconnected. They're only there because their women prompted them to come. Maybe out of every retreat, there's been 1, maybe 2 couples who have really wanted to be there besides North Carolina. North Carolina, everyone wanted to be there. Mm-hmm. But we've seen that, and it kind of put a dark cloud over what I'm doing, right? Like, it made me look at things in a negative light, shadowed my shit. I don't know how to word that. But we got there and we did the introductions and everybody started talking, and like, it started making me feel better about what I was doing, because there was one person who was like, I am actually here because my woman pushed me to be here. And he's like, I'm just being honest, but he got a lot out of the weekend, but I appreciated that honesty. Mm-hmm. We did 2 different seminars, but 3 different topics in each seminar. I gave them extra documents to take home, gave the guys journals. Everybody fucking loved their journals. They thought they were the coolest thing ever. Played D&D, which was really fucking cool. Love that we played D&D. That was unexpected. Yeah. Andrew walked in and was like, hey, 1 shot. I'm like, fuck yeah. I was super excited.
It was hours.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see how many people were going to play at first, because there's fucking 20 men in there. And like, I'm not playing D&D with 20 people. Combat would take way too fucking long. Mm-hmm. But we ended up playing with like 6 or 7 people. And I know we had conversations about, I kept saying that I'm not going to do another one of these before we led up to it. And Friday night when I came to bed, you're like, you're absolutely doing another one of these. And I was like, I don't know if I am or not. And like, I know that you're still very adamant that I'm going to, and I might, but as of right now, I still don't know. There was a suggestion with some of the men out there that we do a men's weekend where we do 1 seminar and then fuck off all weekend so that we can play D&D or drink or swim or whatever, you know what I mean? And like, that would be kind of cool. I definitely want to do a men's only ceremony after the breath work last night. I think some of those guys really fucking need that. Beyond that, I got some stuff out of the weekend. Like, I personally walked away with some stuff. And the biggest thing that I got out of this weekend is that for the last 2 years, I have allowed my body to decompose because I'm not working out at all. I was doing push-ups over the last couple months to try to get my chest stronger because of my pec. I am so terrified of my back getting fucked up that like I'm not working out. I had a realization this weekend that I can either go and take care of my body and try to maintain what I currently have, or I can neglect it and let it get worse and find myself in a much deeper, shitty situation. So moving forward, I'm going to continue to do my Qigong and my matrix stretches in the morning. I set an alarm so that my alarm will go off every morning at 5 a.m., even if I'm not training. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do an hour of cardio. I will walk, even if it's just walking on the treadmill for an hour. And then I'm going to do whatever lifting is for the day. On days that I don't train, I'll just walk. But I started at 30 minutes today, and the goal is to get to an hour. We have, I want to say it was 51 or 52 days until we go to Greece.
Correct.
I don't remember the exact day. I know it's between 50 and 55 because I looked it up this morning. I want to look very different than I do now. So we've already got our diets in check. Now it's just a matter of fine tuning my cardio and my lifting to make compositional changes to my body so that I feel better. And I'm secretly, and I don't even know if he's in the chat, but I'm secretly competing with Andrew. So,
Okay.
because he's lost over 100 pounds since Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So I want to lose more weight than him between now and then, which is gonna be a whole lot harder for me. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I got you with the diet though.
yeah,
I'm going to go grocery shopping after this. For our personal life, I have decided that daily in the mornings, even when I have the kids after I take them to school, I'm going to go grocery shopping for the day. Make it less likely to have junk food in our house.
I fuck with that.
More likely for
Fresh
us to eat the
salads and
food.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on this weird. So like last night, real shit, we had Five Guys because you didn't want to cook and I didn't want. No, we had Five Guys yesterday at lunch. We had got home. We were tired. We had that sushi's healthy. Like
Yeah.
that's not a cheat meal to me because it's just fucking rice and seaweed.
Yeah.
But that Five Guys burger, the French fries were okay. They were greasy, but like 3 bites into that burger and I hated myself. And I still ate the entire fucking thing because it's Five Guys. It's expensive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like we've been eating, I've been eating salads almost every day. I've been destroying oranges, eating fruits, and I feel better. I'm taking digestive enzymes. Like I'm really working on cleaning up my stomach. And I'm pretty proud of where that's going. So iron sharpens iron. The guys are pretty shocked that I got something out of the weekend. And when I told them that I went to the gym this morning, like I explained what was going on, they were like, man, we're really glad that you got something out of talking to us. And I don't want to be 65 or 70 years old and you running around 10, 15 years younger than me, fucking, making your way downtown and I'm, in a wheelchair or fucking on a cane, barely able to walk because of my body. So I'm making changes to make sure that I can still show up when I'm 65, 70 years old in our life. So,
I appreciate that.
yeah. It's my
I love
motivation. I love you too, Hotness. Beautimus Maximus, Mrs. Burkett, woman. Sexy toes. I don't know.
Wow. That one made the titties tingle.
I did that shit to you yesterday. You were laying down on the bed. I'm like, what are you doing in here, beautiful? And then I leaned over top of you and I was trying to make words that rhymed and like they just started getting really fucking dumb because I couldn't think of anything else.
It was great.
It's funny.
I just want you to know if it does come down to you needing a wheelchair, I'm going to make it a point to make sure that we are financially stable enough that you're going to have a motorized thing. And it's going to be big enough for me to be able to sit on your lap.
I fuck with that.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Got some things done for the church this morning.
Yeah.
I know that I know I have hyperfixations, right? I'm not going to deny that I don't cartwheel through things because I absolutely do. I own that. I'm not ashamed of it. Like that's just part of my personality. And it's part of the excitement of being alive for me. I get a new shiny. I want to obsess over it. I want to learn and do the thing. And then when I'm bored with that toy, I want to find a new toy and learn and do the thing. And like that is part of my enjoyment of third density existence.
I love that for you.
That I can accept it.
That
Or
you
this
just
is the
do
thing.
that. That's a fun thing for you.
Yeah.
I like that. I cartwheel too, but I don't cartwheel the way that you do.
Yeah.
Right? Like I still have my base hobbies like knitting and reading and whatever.
I think I still have my base hobbies too. They just rotate. Cause like,
Yeah, I would say that because I also rotate because like I don't paint every day.
Right.
But like I'll paint for 2 weeks straight.
and then go back to knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. I don't remember why I brought this up. Oh, because of the church. My current hyperfixation is getting everything done with the church. And like I'm going back through documents that we've created and I'm recreating those documents and rewording things so that it flows a little bit better because reading something and speaking something isn't
different
the same. So I'm trying to get that shit organized. And I'm really, really fixated on ceremony and trying to get the church up and running and involved. We've talked about this a lot privately, and I think we might have talked about it on an episode, but like I know that the church has its own funds and what the church is doing is the church's money and we're not going to ever take a paycheck from that. But I 100% believe with every fucking fiber of my being that somebody who is very well off or has land is going to come to ceremony they're going to heal themselves spiritually and they're going to make a massive donation. And that's how our land is going to come about. Every single time we have started looking and have had the resources to buy the land, something's happened and it's made us stop.
Yeah.
And it's been like at least 3 times now. And every time we go to make a purchase for the property here or buy a lot, something comes up and it stops us from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know the universe has its karma and the way that it does things. And I know that what we're doing is pushed by God. I believe the infinite creator is doing his thing through us because we are in tune to that. I'm very hyper fixated on the church right now. For you guys who are curious about that, you can go to theawakenedconsciousness.org or aconsciousness.org, either one. I would have loved to have gotten consciousness.org.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out. So aconsciousness.org or theawakenedconsciousness.org. Oh, Andrew's in the chat. He said weekly updates on progress up to Bali. Maybe. I'm going to, we're going to take progress photos of me tonight, the starting point, because I only did 30 minutes today. Real shit. You guys want to hear some fucking pathetic shit? And it is pathetic to me. Normally when I do incline presses on the hammer strength machines, I'm 2 plates and a quarter. I was at 1/4 plate today, 25 pounds for all 3 sets, and it was hard. So I am really, truly starting at 0 with all of this. So when I got on the treadmill this morning, I was at a 2.5 speed, which is my normal walking pace, at a 1 incline. And by the time I got off that thing, I was fucking drenched in sweat. And it's cold outside right now. It was 50 degrees when I went to the gym this morning. It's wild. Absolutely wild. I don't have anything else to get into with that because I will continue to talk about the church and all the stuff that we've got going on if we don't stop talking about that. So
okay.
You have anything you want to get into before we get into this feminism document that we started on the other day?
Let's see. Anything that I want to get into. I have nothing. I'm just a busy worker bee right now. I have the root chakra video almost finalized. I'm going to do my final once over today, and I plan on recording that either today's Tuesday.
It is. Why is that a fuck thing?
Because I thought today was Sunday.
It's Tuesday.
Okay, that throws me off a little bit. I'm not planning shit anymore. I need to regather myself and reorganize. But my root chakra video is almost complete, and that's going to be coming to you guys pretty soon. I'm excited about that whole little mini series. I am still working on my books. Those are happening. I have hit a brain fart, writer's block. I can't think about my fictional book right now. My self-help book is doing its thing. I'm going through, again, adding in final things. It's never going to be finalized. I keep having new ideas or I'm having new conversations. I'm like, oh, that'll be great in chapter 9. I need to go add that. And now chapter 9 is an additional 15 pages. And I'm like, that's a lot.
It's okay though. It's okay though. That's how we get that's how we refine and get good.
I'm having fun with the process though.
Good.
I hope that by the end of all of this, the finished product, I hope it's not too overwhelming. But I also hope that it's enjoyable and it's something that's not going to be another fucking self-help thing on your plate to get done. And then what else? What else am I doing? I'm growing spiritually. I have more certifications under my belt. I'm doing more courses. The one that I'm most excited about right now is my breathwork practitioner's course. Learning about all the different types of breathing and what they do, and I'm excited. I'm excited to take what I'm learning and implementing it all into our retreats and the ceremonies and the things that we're doing.
Things are going to be a really big deal. I know that we've already done one, right? And I know that was friends and family kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it was not to the extent of what August is going to be or what October will be. But the difference in who we are between February and August is going to be very different. And like there's a whole lot of things that are coming into fruition between now and then. Mm-hmm. Somebody said volunteering as a proofreader for all books.
Noted.
Guys, for those of you who don't know, we record every single episode that we do of the To Be Better podcast and the Friday content live in front of our Patreon audience. Patreon has Discord. It has a community behind it. There's multiple tiers. There are free options. There's $5 options. It's just a thank you to us. There's a $10 option that gets early release content that's not recorded. Well, I mean, it's recorded live. It's unedited, but you guys get it early. There's the $15 tier that gets you the Discord and all the live streams that we do. We're about to start doing lives on Saturdays. Every other Saturday when we don't have the kids, one will be a Patreon only live, one will be a YouTube live, and we'll rotate them. I have to get into the schedule. I'll do that. Don't let me forget. We had somebody who was in Perth, Australia, comment on YouTube that said, I really wish you guys would do later streams so that we can watch them. And I looked, and you guys are exactly 12 hours behind us if you're in Perth. So we will be doing evening streams at least twice a month where people who are in Australia between the hours of 6 and 9 a.m. will be able to watch the show live. And I know that that'll hinder our views in America and Canada, the Western Hemisphere. That's fine. We
They get us 90% of the time.
Right. We want to try to get people over. For those of you who follow the content, like religiously follow the content, Mondays at 11 a.m. will be our premieres. Tuesday at 10 a.m. from 10 to 1. I almost said 3. 10 to 1. We'll be live recording for Patreon for content. Wednesday at 10 a.m. will be TikTok lives. 11 a.m. will be YouTube lives. And then we have church services sometimes Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. And then we do integration calls via Zoom at 7 p.m. For those of you who are members of the church, all of our services are done via Zoom, although I'm going to try Google Workplace or Meetups or whatever it is, the Google thing, because Jenny said it's easier to navigate. And then Thursday will be another live stream for Patreon between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. Friday is another premiere at 11 a.m. And then Saturdays we'll have random every other week night streams. And then Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing services for church when we're not out of town. That's our new recording schedule, work release schedule, so you guys have knowledge of what this is all looking like. We've got a lot going on, and we're trying to structure our life to be more productive, more effective, and not as chaotic for you guys. I think that the chaotic aspect of what we do is turned a couple people off to things, and I want our numbers to go up. So having a set schedule matters. It's like, The Simpsons comes on every Wednesday at 7. I don't know if it actually does, but
no, right,
you wait for that shit. So you want to get it? Oh,
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Then I'm done. I promise, guys. All right. So this is just asking for the general masses. This is something that I am heavily putting thought into. I don't know if it's going to be Patreon only content. I don't know if I'm going to release it. It's probably going to be Patreon only content. I have been deep diving Amelia Earhart and Amy Winehouse for the last 3 weeks.
That Amy Winehouse thing's been almost 2 years.
It has been. And it's because it hit me yesterday while I was listening to a documentary about her, is that I see so much of myself in her. And not that the famous aspect, I'm not even a tenth of what Amy Winehouse was famous-wise. But I'm talking about the mental illness and the grasping onto the man that she loves so desperately, and the addictions and falling apart in life and all of those kinds of things. When I was a young woman, I was very much a mess. The way that she became a mess with the fame and the attention and all those kinds of things. And what really stands out about her for me is the relationship that she had with her ex-husband. He introduced her to the drugs and all of the things that she ended up falling into. Their relationship was so toxic, but they were just so, she loved him the way that I love you, but in a very toxic manner. And girl, I get it. Real shit. I get it. And I don't know. And I'm obsessing over it. And I have things that I want to talk about. I'm analyzing the psychology of things and their messed up relationship, and the fact that he was selling information about her life to TMZ, but that she still wanted to be in a relationship with him. There's so much that can be talked about that I think that would help young women or women in general, and maybe give perspective to men in regards to how women may think in a situation.
Well, if we do that, if you want to do that for Patreon content, we could do that on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I want to start utilizing the live calls more. I think that's the next evolution of what we're doing. I believe that.
I don't want to do that as a Zoom call.
No? Okay. You don't have to. But I think that we need, obviously with the church, we will be doing them.
Right.
But Saturday night contents, if we're doing, obviously I don't want to do the, finish the lyric shit. That After Dark stuff was fun, but it was a whole lot of sitting around and a whole lot of work on the back end of things. But I do think that we should be doing a lot more Zoom stuff.
Okay.
What about the Amelia Earhart?
Oh, with the Amelia Earhart thing, there was I don't know how new this evidence is, but it's new to me. I came across an interview with a gentleman who has been, his life work is dedicated to Amelia Earhart and the research and discovery and finding her and all these kinds of things. And what got me was that there was this new aerial footage of Amelia Earhart playing under the water. Have we finally discovered it? And I was like, bitch, that looks like a palm tree shedding. Like, that's not a plane. And this guy was like, yeah, that looks like a tree to me. And I was like, I knew it. So like, I'm going to listen to this man. And he started talking about all of this evidence about Amelia Earhart landing on, I can't remember the name of the island, but it's this little island in the, I can't remember. She said like 133 to 337 was the line that she was traveling on, and this island was right in the middle of it. And they checked out the island, but they didn't have the resources, I guess, or the money or the time to actually go to the island. So they just scoped the island and they're like, yep, no one's here, and they left. But from her landing, there were, I want to say 2 weeks of nighttime calls of people on their ham radios hearing her. It's Amelia Earhart. I'm down. I need help. Blah, 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 blah. Can you hear me? Repeating the coordinates that she was saying. And there were multiple people. There was someone in New York. I think that there was somebody in Texas. There was a young girl who had a journal and she was writing out the things that Amelia was saying. At the island, they found a broken freckle cream jar because Amelia Earhart was ashamed of her freckles, so she was trying to use the cream to get rid of them.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Removal of freckle cream?
Yeah, in like the 20s and the 30s. I want to say, like, I know now it's a fad and people are drawing them on their face and shit. But yeah, it was very much a thing that it was blemishes. I remember getting made fun of hard.
Same.
Like, tell me that I had shit on my face and I was Satan's spawn.
I heard that I looked like I stood in front of a screen door and someone threw shit at me.
Yep.
Because I was covered in them.
Yep. Fucking kids, man.
Even heard it from my parents.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't have a relationship with your mom because I don't think I could be civil. But with the freckle cream jar, everything on that flight was accounted for except for personal items. So that was one of those things where like, well, that's not on the item list, so that doesn't prove that she was there. But it is, like, they proved it. They bought the jar from 1939. There's the packaging and everything. It's the exact same jar. It's just broken in 3 pieces.
Right.
They found, there was I believe it was a Swiss Army's knife that was in inventory on the military flight list, but it's just the blade of the Swiss Army's knife. It's not the whole knife. So they're like, it's just a blade. It could be anybody's blade. You can't prove it.
Right.
Right. But those are the things that are adding up. And there were a couple of other things, but I went down this whole rabbit hole of I couldn't imagine. Oh, and also, for those of you who didn't know, there was a man on that flight that went down with Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Didn't know she had a male navigator. I thought she did that shit alone.
I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Noonan. He was the navigator. He was her navigator, and they went down together. And I couldn't imagine being on this island, seeing these Navy ships and seeing these warplanes like flying overhead and looking for me.
Not being able to get their attention.
And not being able to get their attention.
I'd have been setting big ass fires and, something. Help on the fucking shore out of coconut trees. I don't fucking know. I mean, it's obviously easy to say that, but you don't know, what their resources were.
Yeah.
People are interested. Abby said that Tom's dad's cousin was Amelia Earhart.
Oh, that's crazy.
So people are interested.
All right,
They want you to do the things.
Yes. Fred. It was Fred. Fred Noonan. I was absolutely blown away when I heard that there was another person on that flight. And like, I went to the comments, and before I even started the documentary, I went to the comments because I'm that kind of person, right? I'll read the last sentence of a book before I start the book. I don't know why I do that. But somebody in the comments said, if you ever feel useless, remember that there was a man on that flight with Amelia Earhart. And I was like, shut the fuck up. No, there wasn't. So Abby, with some of the evidence that they found parts of the plane manipulated. And they believe that with the way that the scrapings, they found bones also of turtle shells. There were deliberate scrapes of people peeling the flesh off of the bones of the turtle shell. And they were using bent parts of the planes to do that.
Oh, wow.
And they are also saying they were able to track the high and the low tides so they went and they watched the high and the low tides of the beach there. And they were able to time it with her radio calls. And they were able to measure the high and the low tide because once the tide got too high, she wasn't able to get to the radio. because of where the airplane position, when it was low tide, it looked like a massive landing strip.
Oh, wow.
But when high tide came up, she couldn't get to it to use the radio.
And it still worked after it got wet?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't miss that part or whatever happened, but.
You got people thanking you for the weekend. Bandit said thank you earlier.
You guys are welcome.
We've decided that moving forward, when there's retreats that we're working together, that we're not going to be doing, like, we can do men and women's retreats, but we will both be involved. Whether it's, I'm not cooking, but if it's just me cleaning the kitchen after you cook or whatever, so that I'm still kind of in the room while you're doing the thing, so that I can do what you did last weekend and just kind of chime in when needed. Yeah,
I didn't hang out.
I wish you would have. I wish you would have played D&D with us and actually been a part of things. I don't care that you're the only woman in a retreat full of men. I don't give a shit what anyone has to say about that, because we're there and I know what your intentions are.
Right.
So the internet saying shit like that, why is a woman there? She wants attention. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like I had conversations with the men while I was there. Like I would stand outside and smoke and we would have small conversations. But like I wasn't sitting down for an hour and a half at a time talking one-on-one with men. That wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm not there for that. That was a you thing.
Right. Well, that's not what I meant. It's not what I was getting at.
What do you mean?
I wish you would have been involved with some of the other things, like maybe with some of the seminars or played D&D with us. Like,
I think being a part of the seminars would have been very beneficial. And I think going forward, we should do that.
Yeah. To
give the male and the female perspective side of things. D&D was way too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you told me there were 12 people, I was like, oh, and made my armpits sweaty. Like you said, combat was going to be insanely long. And then had to be put on the spot to be funny. Fuck. There's a lot of people to impress in one go.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go back to their women and let them know if I was actually funny. I can't handle that.
Yeah. It's
like
too much pressure, huh?
Yeah.
Afraid you're going to ruin the childhood dream of being a comedian?
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. There, you just jump into it?
Yep.
All right.
Alrighty. So what we're doing is Reddit Feminism.
Again, part 2.
Alrighty. Does pressuring men to shut up lead to bad outcomes for everyone? I got to read that one more time just for myself. Does pressuring men to shut up lead to bad outcomes for everyone? You want to know the first thing that came to my mind?
What?
The Columbine shooting.
Wow. Why?
Because pressuring, okay, right? So I just went down a whole rabbit hole. Pressuring men to shut up means repressing your emotions, meaning you can't talk about anything to anyone, means resentment. And it depends on where you go from there, right? You can either become a shell of yourself, people pleaser, everybody walks on you. You unalive yourself, or you blame everybody around you and then you finally snap.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I was in jail when that happened.
That's insane.
Yep. I remember we weren't allowed to watch news. Like we got very few channels in the jail that we were in. Watched a lot of Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Cartoons and shit, but like that was a really big deal. They actually let us watch the news that day.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that who was it, Clinton?
I don't remember.
The president at that time made a whole speech about it. And now we just get a little TikTok.
Yeah.
It's become such a normalized thing.
Fucking sad, isn't it?
It's absolutely insane. All right, now we're going to actually get into it. I am writing a book about my experience as a marginalized person, not about men, and need an answer to this question that came up. I wonder what you mean by marginalized person. I hope that's included. Men aren't being systematically oppressed like women are, but are some men made to feel that they should shut up? I was. I'm Googling this before I say it because I don't want to sound stupid. Okay. I got it. So he said, I'm writing a book about my experience as a marginalized person, not about men. So just as a marginalized person.
This is a woman because this is a feminism document. So she said this.
But are some men made to feel that they should shut up? I was.
Yeah, she was made to shut up. I mean, I would assume this is a woman writing a document about feminism.
I'm reading this as a man's writing it.
Okay.
So, but he said he's a marginalized person, but men aren't systematically oppressed like women are. But to say that you're marginalized, you are oppressed. So now we're going to see who has worse oppression.
I mean, that sounds like that's what we're doing.
This feels like tit for tat for trauma.
Yeah. I think it's a woman that wrote the document.
I have 2 examples from my own life so you can understand what I'm talking about. I went to a college event at which soda and ice cream were being offered. I took the soda. One of the two women overseeing the event said, "Is that all you're going to take?" Since this was during COVID-19, and so it would be inappropriate to engage in an in-person group social activity, I responded jokingly, "Is there anything else to do?" At this point, the other woman snorted at me. During a discussion preceding the 2016 presidential election, I said, "I don't think the country is ready for a female president." I said this because I thought a woman would hurt the party's chance of winning, not because I don't think a woman deserved, not because I didn't think, my apologies, not because I didn't think a woman deserved to win. A female family member overheard this and said, "I should slap you." So this is written by a man.
Okay.
Besides these, my mother's reactions when I talk about politics made me feel pressured to stay quiet. So I spent years of my life not discussing my political opinions with anyone while I was young but of voting age. My concern is that if men don't feel comfortable speaking up about opinions that, for example, are harmful to marginalized groups, wouldn't this make it more difficult for society to weed out men with these opinions? I'm asking if this is harmful to people other than the men themselves. Edit, you guys are fixating too hard into the two examples I gave. These were only two small examples of the much larger trend. My mom, redacted.
There's a whole lot of conversations that could be had about this. and you can get into like the manosphere conversations and like, you know, you can go from extreme to extreme in all of this, but we make up half the population. Mm-hmm. Removing our ability to speak and trying to weed us out and like pitchfork us.
Right.
That's problematic. What are you smirking at over there?
Because we're gonna weed them out. I'm almost certain that's from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sorry.
You're good. I just, this person became a coward and didn't want to speak on their political opinions because their mom would get mad about it. So they just kept their political opinions silent.
Yeah, this also goes to show how harmful women can be to men.
That's a good point.
You want to, men are so terrible. Well, look at the women raising them.
Yeah. Yep, I've said that a lot and got a whole lot of hate for it. Glad you said it this time and not me. Let's move on to the next one because I think that one's dumb.
Okay, I agree. That was
meh.
Someone from our chat said, "This is odd. I'm not sure I understand what they are getting at." Girl, same.
Yeah.
Same. When my husband was saying there was a whole lot of conversation here, I was like, this is stupid. Okay. Why aren't misogynistic men? Okay, I want to pause. I don't mean that oppression and marginalized people and all those kinds of things are stupid. I mean that thought process was stupid. We should be focusing on the oppression that's happening, if it's actually happening, and not the hypotheticals of my mom hurt my feelings. Shouldn't we be weeding out the men who think that Trump is a good guy and blah, 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 blah? Not saying that he said that. I inserted that in. That's just the kind of thing that we're hearing nowadays.
Right. That whole woman president thing, there's not a lot of women that are in office that I would want to run the country.
I agree.
There's not a lot of men in office that I would want to run the country. And when you're voting, you're not voting for the best candidate. You're voting on who you think is going to fuck you the least, or you're voting on identity politics.
Yep.
And those are two things that I don't vote for. Like, I'm not playing that game. I don't know. There have been women that have ran for office that had they gotten the primary vote, I probably would have voted for them because in the beginning of their the process, they said some shit that I really fucked with, but like this shit's all so fucking corrupt anyways. Like,
yes, it is.
The fact that we argue over politics is just wild to me.
The next one is, why aren't misogynistic men who keep crying about how women are gold diggers and how all women are shit going 4B or something?
They are. It's called men going their own way.
Oh, your own way.
So instead of taking the time to actually do a little bit of internet research, you get on Reddit and just run your mouth. There's been so much content made about that. Just because it didn't blow up on TikTok the way the 4B movement did, the men go your own way movement happened like 5 or 6 years before 4B was even discussed.
Yeah.
It's been happening since like 2020. I've had people say that it started before then, but I can't find anything before 2020. Granted, I also wasn't looking really hard either. I just wanted to know when, and most of the articles said around 2020. You can also look at this as passport bros. That's been happening for decades.
Yeah.
So
why aren't misogynistic men who keep crying about how women are gold diggers and how all women are shit going 4B or something? Why aren't misogynistic men what? Who keep crying about what? Why aren't they what? I understand that they're crying about how women are gold diggers and how all women are shit for going for 4B, but why aren't misogynistic men what? Am I just reading that wrong?
Why aren't misogynistic men who keep crying about how women are gold diggers and how all women aren't shit, or how all women are shit going 4B or something? They're asking why men who are doing that aren't going 4B. Why don't we have our own version of 4B? Which is what I was saying we do. It's the men go our own way movement.
Oh, okay. See, now that makes sense.
Right. Hence the passport bros conversation and all that.
This is why punctuation is important.
Right. Well, I mean, you can tell by the topic of this that the person who wrote it's a fucking retard. So there's that. People in the chat are asking what's 4B. 4B is the movement that came out of what we believe came out of Korea, where women were like, men aren't doing it for us anymore. We're no longer going to date. We're not going to marry. We're not having kids. Like, am I wrong?
Yeah. So the 4B movement came out of women getting tired of being like roped on trains and shit. And men are wanting marriage, but women are getting tired of being treated the way that they're being treated. So if you can't treat us like women and keep your hands to yourselves and do the things that we need you to do as men, we're not going to date you.
We're both wrong. 4B movement is, or 4 No's, is a radical South Korean feminist movement where women boycott heterosexual marriage, dating, sex, and childbirth to reject the patriarchy.
Really?
Yep. I was right about the Korea thing, and I was right about the sex, marriage, and dating thing and childbirth. I didn't realize that it was a whole boycott over heterosexual marriage. But that started in 2017 to 2019.
Okay.
I know that the men go your own way movement came before that, though. That didn't get popular on TikTok until like 2023 or 2024.
Yeah, I started seeing that circulating a few years ago. I'm almost certain that what I watched about 4B included that women were getting groped and shit on trains, and that's part of the reason they started the movement.
It's crazy to me that that would be a thing in Asian culture.
In South Korea, yeah.
I only say that because, and maybe this is a foolish American thing because I've never been to Japan or China, but like they have a very big respect culture over there. Like I know that there's no garbage cans in Japan. Like there are obviously.
Like public ones?
Yeah.
Or?
But they expect you to just put your trash in your bag and take it home and dispose of it properly, not leave it on the road. You know what I mean? And like there's a whole culture built around honor and integrity and respect. So like I would never imagine maybe that's just an ignorance thing on my part. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so getting into this, there are so many men nowadays who cry about how all women are gold diggers and they hate men and they only exist to ruin their lives or whatever. It does make me wonder, though, if these men are so worried about a woman financially draining them or ruining them that they seem to think every educated, independent woman is a threat to their vast wealth, then why don't they just not date women?
So there's a whole lot of inserted viewpoint there because it has nothing to do with educated, independent women.
No. It has to do with your attitude, your character.
It has to do with what we've seen happen to our peers. Doesn't matter the status of women. I've seen broke women do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen women who have no degrees. I've seen women who have no jobs do that shit.
Yeah.
I've seen a whole lot of women manipulate the court system to take advantage of men when it comes around their kids and their divorce. It has nothing to do with being very educated or independent.
Yeah. That whole why date a woman if you hate women? Well, when I was a hardcore feminist, I hated men and I still dated men. And it's because I was broken and I was damaged and I was projecting all of the foul shit that happened to me onto the male population. And there was shit that I was projecting that didn't even happen to me. I was carrying shit from my mother, from my grandmother, from every other hurt woman in my family and projecting it onto men because that's how I grew up with the viewpoint. There was a lot of undeserved and unwarranted shit that I did to men because I grew up that mindset of power in the pussy and fuck all men. But I still wanted love.
Yep, that's it. You didn't want to be alone.
I still craved being cherished. So in the hopes of trying to find that one good woman, yeah, I'm going to complain and bitch about it because every single one I've run into so far has been shit. But also that's your fault because you have a pattern and you should heal that.
Right. We have our types. We have the social circles that we're in.
Yeah.
Right. There's a whole lot that goes into that. This is the stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Mm-hmm. They exist for a reason. There's truth behind them. And if you live in like social circles where this is a common thing and that stereotype is normal amongst your social circle, it's because there's truth behind it. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be loved. Even people who have decided that they're not going to fucking date and do those things still deeply want to be a part of a fucking committed, loving relationship.
Yeah.
They just don't believe they'll ever find it and they quit.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back and I want to correct by saying it's not your fault that you have a pattern. You've developed something where you seek something out in people where, yes, you want their love, but you're also willing to tolerate the toxic habits. And that's the pattern that you're accepting. So me saying it's your fault in a more intelligent way is to say you are choosing the people that you are being with and you're choosing the same person in a different skin.
Yep. Yep. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
I don't want to finish reading this one.
No?
Next.
You heard her. Y'all don't even get the comment section on that one. There's a lot of them. Holy shit, there's a lot of them.
I wouldn't have wanted to read all those anyway.
Holy shit, there's a lot of them. It's still going. That one must have pissed off a whole lot of people.
I believe it. All right. This next one. I'm sorry. This.
Hold on. Hold the phone. I love it when it's you that's like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. Because normally it's me getting fucking infuriated and be like, we're done with this email. Like,
Yeah.
stop. I don't want to do this anymore.
All right. This one is titled, I'm sorry. This feels so predatory and entitled.
Uh-oh.
Quote unquote, to help a deserving family. I know is most likely being used as a feel-good, sweet, nothing statement. But that verbiage there, a quote unquote deserving family. No one deserves a child. Likewise, no one deserves a surrogate. I just want to pause here. We're 2 sentences in. I feel like I've been thrown into the deep end of something.
Yeah.
Okay. Life-changing money was also a choice. Up to is deceptive marketing as well. Most surrogates in the United States are only paid around $60K. With this company's carriers, quote unquote, barf, their language, not mine, earning more than previous experience. Okay, so I'm guessing this is about surrogacy. This ad reads as giving women the privilege to rent their bodies to them. What an honor to produce a baby for a well-off family in late-stage capitalism in a country with the highest prenatal mortality rate. This just pisses me off, rant over.
So there's an image.
Oh, it says, take our short 60-second quiz to see if you qualify as a surrogate and embark on a rewarding journey with a team that truly cares, ... Surrogates, permission granted to use your body's natural gift to help a deserving family, to earn life-changing money up to $150,000, to feel proud of what you're doing. You don't need anyone's approval, but if you did, here it is. See if you're a match, fill out the application, and this is for Roots Surrogacy. I have my own issues with surrogacy. I think that the way that it is marketed to women and the way that it is sold to women, there is no afterward mental health provided to the surrogates. And I don't think that there is any real true preparation of what your body is about to go through in pregnancy and the type of primal hormonal separation that's going to go on when your body is searching for the baby it just created and you don't have that child.
So I wasn't even going to touch on the mental health thing because I got to be honest, it didn't even cross my mind. So that's a really good fucking point. We actually know people who do surrogacy stuff. Yeah. And they're cool with it because they've done it a bunch. And like, that's something that they feel is a beautiful thing to give back to. Yes. I got hung up on the $150,000 for 9 months worth of work. Yeah. It's a lot of fucking money.
It is. But it says up to.
Yeah, I know. Even if it was only $70,000 for 9 months worth of work.
That's a lot.
Right? You don't have to work at that point. Like you have a full-time job to live your life doing whatever the fuck you want to do until you have this baby. Yeah. I think that there's a whole lot of things that would go into that to get to that higher price range, right? Yeah. Genetics would probably be one of them. I mean, we would be getting into a discussion of
the woman's diet. Like,
I think it would go a whole lot further than that.
It'd be a lot. Yeah. I do want to add on that I have no issues with surrogacy. Right. If you are a woman and you feel like that is your calling, like you are built strong and you can handle multiple pregnancies, but you don't want to be a mom and you want to help other families have children, I am all for that shit. Everyone has a calling. Everyone has a purpose. My issue, like I said, is that the way that this is sold to women, especially women who are in poverty or looking for money, I'm not going to say an easy way by any means because pregnancy is not easy, but this is one of those things where I just have to get pregnant. Yeah. Right? And from the research that I've done and the conversations that I've had with women, there is no prior, like, this is what to expect. This is the support that you're going to get. There is no aftercare of the mental health. And like I said, the way that your body is going to react hormonally when there is no baby present, even though it's craving the child. Yeah, that's my problem with it.
Right. I didn't think that you were talking shit about surrogacy.
I just wanted to be clear for the audience.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was a rant because of something I said or not. So there's a whole lot that goes into it that I honestly didn't think about. Also, don't know how that works. Like once you get pregnant, does the payment start? And do you get paid whether the baby is born or not? Because what happens if there's a miscarriage?
Or a stillborn.
Right? So does that negate the payment? Because that matters.
Or what if there's a baby, you find out 7 months in, there's a genetic defect.
Right. Right. I don't know how any of that works.
Right.
The mental health aspect of that I'm now hung up on is the biggest aspect of all of this for me, because there needs to be like legit therapy that's included with that, because having a baby ripped away from you is that's fucking a lot.
Yep. And there's not a big conversation around how women bond with the child while it's in the womb.
Right. Well, of course not, because they want you to give your baby away afterwards.
Right. But there's also this massive societal push that it's not a baby, it's a fetus. It's not a baby until it's out of the womb, right? But once, right? And that's a whole side conversation that I really don't want to get into right now, babe.
Unless you hurt a mother who's pregnant and then you get charged twice.
Yeah.
Right? Because then it's a baby.
That's true. I can't remember where I was going with that.
That's a lot to think about. That fucking mental health thing afterwards, I never thought about that. I've thought about surrogacy things here and there. Like, it's come up.
Yeah.
Especially when we met that person who was pregnant. This like, I'm a surrogate. I was like, whoa. Like at that point in my life, I had never met anyone who did surrogacy work.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like made up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't think it was real. Like I didn't think that people actually did that for people, especially with in vitro, you know what I mean? In the way the technology that we have now. I think that we're going to get to a point where this isn't going to be a thing pretty soon. We're 3D printing kidneys and livers and shit that are functional from stem cells. I believe within the next 5, maybe 10 years, we'll be doing lab grown babies. Mm-hmm. So rich people who want to have children that don't want to go through the process of even carrying a baby to term can go give their egg and their sperm, lab grow the baby when they're 50, because that's when they're ready to have a kid and can totally do this shit. I would put money on that if we 5 to 10 years tops. If we made it past a decade, I'd be totally fucking shocked. Okay, I don't remember what was set up there because we got a whole side conversation, but they're just bitching about the framing of that. There's no...
The deserving of a family or a deserving family. That is a really shitty way to frame that, because there are children out there, not children, I'm sorry. There are parents out there. There are adults out there, women and men out there who are fostering, adopting children and actively abusing them and just using them for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in a deserving family. I believe in... You get out of life what you get out of life, right? And if I wasn't able to have a child, I would use all my resources. But I wouldn't go to a woman and say, I deserve a baby, help me.
Right.
Right?
I agree with that. You were talking and I was thinking of all kinds of ways to like try to counter your argument. But your final statement, there's no reason to try to counter an argument because that makes a whole lot of sense. I was going down the rabbit hole about, what if there's, a really good family and they're financially stable and highly educated and they're doing all of these great things and they're working to cure cancer and they're philanthropists and all that shit and they can't have a baby. But like, even then it doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to be good parents.
Right.
So you're right. Nobody deserves to have children. Somebody in the chat just said there was a recent article on the success of an artificial womb. There you go. 5 to 10 years tops. Technology's coming. Do you want to read this one about Stranger Things? I have really strong opinions about this. It's probably going to piss off a whole lot of people. Stranger
Things coming off as sexist? Okay, yeah. Because the Stranger Things finale actually pissed me off. That whole last season, I loved Stranger Things, and then it just went to shit. So this says, thoughts on Stranger Things ending, does it come off as sexist? With spoilers. Now that Stranger Things has officially ended with its New Year's Eve finale, I'm curious of how others felt about the conclusion, particularly Eleven's fate. Spoilers below.
I didn't see this going anywhere about 11.
No?
Nope, don't give a shit about that character.
Who did you care about?
She looked like an alien the whole final season to me.
Oh yeah, no, she...
Like
she did not look like herself to me.
I gotta be honest, I only watched the first season and the last season.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't invested in the show anyways. But I didn't think that's just where this was going. I thought this was going to go to the whole Will's gay thing.
Oh, gotcha.
So...
Yeah. And to touch on commenting on Millie Bobby Brown's face, it's not that she's not beautiful. It's there's this whole wave of, and it's not just women in Hollywood getting their faces done and all of this plastic surgery. We just saw it with Jim Carrey. We've seen it with, I'm almost certain that Brad Pitt has had work done. I may be confusing him with somebody else, but like John Travolta has had work done. There is this, I can't get immersed in the show anymore.
Yeah,
I can't enjoy what I'm watching. It's ruining it for me. They look like a different class than us. It's like Uncanny Valley.
What's that?
They look human-esque.
I actually made a post about that last night. So there's a TV show right now. This is going to drop in May. So the whole season will be released by then. But there's a show on Paramount Plus called The Madison. And it's got Michelle Pfeiffer and Kirk Douglas in it. And Michelle Pfeiffer was like a normal looking woman. And like I'm watching the show and all I can see is the fat pouches on each side of her lip and the weird little dip and the fact that her lips doesn't fucking move. And like right before that, we watched Marshalls, which was the Yellowstone spinoff, and none of the chicks' lips moves and their fucking foreheads don't move.
I saw one chick move her eyebrows and she was an extra letting them know that they had to leave.
Right.
And I was like, look, a normal person.
I think this is a conspiracy theory that's just fucking stupid.
Let's get it.
The more that actors and actresses do this to their bodies, the more accepting we will be of robots wearing fake skin.
Ooh. I'm on board with that.
Because all of it looks mechanical to me.
It does. Holy shit.
I was watching that shit last night and like, I was getting ready to get in the third episode and I started thinking about it and I started stressing myself out and I was like, let's go to bed.
No, you're right. It does look like prototypes of trying to make human looking mechanisms.
Yep.
Oh my God. It's also giving me Capital from Hunger Games.
Right?
Or like the Queen's Court from the Alice in Wonderland's movies.
I saw that Kelly Osbourne thing the other day and was like, what the fuck are these people doing to themselves? I get that Hollywood as a whole, the individual is the brand.
Yeah.
Your appearance, Brad Pitt, the way that he talks and like his mannerisms is his brand. Mm. You start fucking with your face, you look like Madonna now, like your brand is destroyed.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm never going to have anything done to my face. Like I was blow drying my hair, so I had my hair separated and I was pulling it like this. And I had like 6 glistening white hairs. And I was like, hello, my beauties, my little Snow Whites. I cannot tell you how excited I am to age. I'm gonna look good as fuck when I'm 70.
You look good as fuck anyways.
Thank you.
But we're supposed to.
Right.
We're supposed to go through that transition of young to old. Like we all do it. And these actors and actresses that are fucking 50, 60, 70 years old, like they need to look 50, 60, 70 years old. You can't be like, I'm a grandma, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's pretty sad to watch the desperate grasp for youth.
yeah.
And like, I understand that your youth is what's going to keep you in the eye of the public, your attractiveness, we could say. But then at what point are you going to start making room for other people to start stepping into the limelight? Who's going to be the next Brad Pitt?
Right.
Right? All right, now actually into this. In the final episode, 11, Elle, a young woman with powerful psychic abilities, especially telekinesis, either sacrifices herself to save her friends or fakes her death to do the same. Regardless of which interpretation you accept, the outcome seems to be that she never sees her friends or loved ones again.
Because characters die.
Right.
That's the ultimate sacrifice, is to give up you for the people that you love.
Yeah.
Men do that every day.
Yeah. I think that she died and that Mike created a little story to cope with it.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
I think that's the most honorable thing somebody could do.
I agree.
So why is that a fucked up thing? I can't go on. I dyed my beard. Remember that?
I do.
And
you shaved it off.
I hated it the moment we did that shit. I was like, I can't fucking believe I just did this, because like I know that in comparison, I got tired of the grandpa jokes.
Yeah.
I got tired of people on YouTube being like, is that her dad? Right? Like, fuck you guys. That shit hurts. Like,
yeah.
You know, so like I went through a little tiny midlife crisis. I was like, I'm just going to dye the whites brown, because if they look brown, maybe I won't look as old. And the moment I did it, as soon as we washed my face off, I regretted it. And like, I think I needed to go through that to understand the aging thing is just a natural thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so attracted to you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Why you say that?
It shows a life lived.
Yeah.
It shows that you're wise. It shows that you weren't reclused in a house in front of a computer. You have calluses on your hands. You have strength in your thighs. Like,
Got strength between them too. I was going to make a joke as to why my beard is white, but I think we should continue reading. Focus.
the fuck you, I am. Okay. Back into this. I'm feeling pretty unsatisfied with this ending. It struck me as poorly thought out and emotionally hollow. More than that, it felt sexist to me. Possibly unintentionally, but still troubling.
So if the man died, because that's what men are supposed to do, we're supposed to fucking die for the people we love. That wouldn't have been a sexist. That had just been normal, right?
It would have been expected.
But y'all want equal rights.
Yeah.
So now a woman gets a lead role in a show because she was one of the main characters.
Yes.
She had to play the death role as one of the main fucking characters of the show, and you're complaining about it.
Right.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Something doesn't have to be intentionally sexist to be sexist. Thoughtless storytelling choices can reinforce harmful patterns even without ideological intent.
Thoughtless storytelling choices can reinforce harmful patterns. You mean disrupting the entire show by Willa having his "I'm gay" moment? How did that enhance the story of Stranger Things at all?
You know what? There were people there for that moment who didn't have to be there for that fucking moment.
Yeah, that entire thing didn't need to be in the show.
Yeah.
They're fucking kids. Like, why are we fixating on a high school kid's sexual preference?
Orientation, yeah. Yeah.
That ruined the show for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I deep dive that too. I listen to but I have a couple of content creators I listen to who are part of the LGBTQ community, but that's not their content.
Right.
But when that happened, they were like, guys, I don't usually talk about like the queer things and whatnot, but this really pissed me off. And they talked about how that moment would have been so much more impactful because realistically, in the time frame that this young man is coming out as gay, he should have done it by himself privately with his best friend, Mike.
Right.
Him doing it in front of that group of people, especially people that he was not close with.
In the 80s.
Would have been very, very dangerous for him. So let's talk about thoughtless storytelling in that.
Right.
Right? Okay. In this case, the show ends with its central female character paying the ultimate personal cost while others get to move on. Right? But Mike doesn't really get to move on. The whole ending of that show was about, like, buddy, it's been over a year and a half. Like, we gotta move on from this.
Right.
Like, oh gosh. To me, it feels like the showrunners blurred into an ending that does not disservice not only to 11, but arguably all of the characters. Curious what others think. Do you think this ending worked for you? Did it feel earned, or did it leave you uncomfortable too?
Every main show where the hero has to die to like save others. John Wick, the last John Wick, he died.
Yeah.
Should we be like, oh my God, this is sexist?
They
How dare
killed
they
John
kill John
Wick?
Wick? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. I think that someone had to die.
I agree.
Right? In good storytelling, in this kind of story, somebody has to pass away. People have passed away. Everyone lost their mind when Doug died in the first season. Ripped apart by the Demodogs.
Don't remember.
It's good storytelling. But that wasn't sexist when Doug got taken over.
Well, would it have been
Right.
sexist if all the male characters that were playing the D&D game died and 11 was the only one who survived?
No. Right? Because it's the man's duty to die for right? Because Doug died to save his girlfriend and her child who they just rescued. Like, it was this whole thing. And I can't remember where I was going with that.
Somebody in chat said, wow, spoiler alert. It's fucking March 17th. Today is St. Patrick's Day. This shit ended last year.
Yeah, I also read spoiler alert
Yeah.
like 2 times.
I would also like to point out that, like, I'm going to go to Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That Ned Stark death at the end of end of book 1, I'm laying in my bed. I had just finished all of the up until that point, every book of the Sword of Truth series. It was like 11 books at that point. I had read all of them back to back to back over the course of like 2 months.
Yeah.
Richard and Caitlin getting all kinds of shit, and they always survive because they're the main heroes of the story. And I'm reading Game of Thrones, first book. And I'm like, Ned Stark is the hero. He's going to do the thing. And they killed him.
Yep.
And I'm laying in bed and I took the book and I fucking threw it across the room. I was pissed because they actually beheaded him. I was just waiting like the sword.
Who's going to save him?
Right. Like, where's Rob? Where's fucking John? Like, what's going on right now? How the fuck is this happening? And I threw the book and like, I didn't even finish it. Like there was like 2 pages left.
Yeah.
I was pissed, fucking pissed. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the next book is going to be the son's revenge. Because that's normal story arc. Like you've built up this thing. Now the son's going to be the hero. And then the Red Wedding happened. I'm like, what the fuck is happening in these books?
Good storytelling.
Good storytelling.
Yeah.
Because now I have to know what's going to happen next.
Yep.
It's not sexy. Caitlin Stark got her fucking throat slit at the Red Wedding and came back as a fucking zombie.
Yeah.
In the books.
In the books.
Lady Stoneheart didn't come back in the movies, but
the books are always so much better.
Yeah, they are. And they'll never get finished.
Do you want to read that together?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, like if we can't find a show to watch, I can read you Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
Because I've never read the books.
What?
I've never read them, yeah.
I'm so offended by that. Now I know how Star Wars nerds feel when they're like, I can't believe you've never watched Star Wars.
Yep. I also see that I was just corrected in chat. It was Bob that died. I don't know why I thought his name was Doug. So we're going to start doing that in the evening?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I still like our TV shows, but when we're caught up, I could definitely do an evening a week. I don't think you're ready for those books.
I think I am.
The amount, dude, they kill everybody in those books. Like every single time you get attached to a character, they kill them. The only character that I didn't like, that didn't die, that I was heavily attached to by the end of the storyline was Arya.
Yeah.
Because she was a fucking badass. I was hoping we would get a spinoff of her story. So bad.
Book-wise or show-wise?
I don't give a fuck.
Right, I was
I'd be
hoping
happy
for show-wise. Yeah. Because I've watched the whole show. I watched that whole show again while I was sick with COVID.
Yeah.
8 seasons in 2 weeks. Yeah.
That they did her such a disservice in the show. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you've never read the books, Arya's a badass in the show. Arya Stark is a badass. But like in the show, in the books, she was blind and deaf for a lot longer. Like that whole thing was like a training 80s montage over chapters, right? Yeah.
I love that. You want to read the comments of this?
Yes.
All right. The whole 5th season evoked the same feelings in me of season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Well, there you go.
The writers were clearly done with the IP and the story suffered as a result. I agree with that. I hated the ending, like the whole ending of the series. I think Eleven dying was one of the greatest things in that ending.
And that's what they're complaining about.
Right. I don't know that Elle could have had a better ending, though. I don't think her settling down in Hawkins as a housewife to Mike would have been any more feminist. At least with this ending, she's given a lot of agency by implication. And from a feminist perspective, I have to weigh any unfortunate implication of Elle's ending with Erica, Nancy, Joyce, Max, Holly, etc. Even Mrs. Wheeler. Overall, all of the women got more or less what they wanted. I agree with that. I think I would have been more upset at the fact of Elle just becoming a housewife with a kid.
I wasn't into the show the way that you were.
Yeah.
So like when we were watching the 5th season or whatever season that was, 5th, right?
Yeah.
You were having to explain to me a whole lot of shit of the show. So like I was watching the show because you were watching the show. So like I have no skin in the game in this one.
Yeah. Now say they ended the 5th season with almost everybody else dying and Elle and Mike and I suddenly can't remember anybody's name from the show. I have to look up the cast. Holy shit. Give me just 1 second, guys.
The really smart radio kid.
The really smart radio kid.
If those 3 would have survived and their entire family died,
Yeah.
that would have been a good ending.
Well, if the 3 of them survived and all of their other friends died while trying to kill
Right.
what's his face, her human name, then I would have been happy with her getting to be a stay-at-home wife and having a family and like doing the thing with Mike because they fucking lost everybody.
I wouldn't have wanted to see that.
Yeah.
I would have liked the show to have ended with everybody else dying and like the 3 of them there, like surviving and then it just ending.
Yeah. That they get to live life from there.
I want to make up my own ending of that.
Yeah.
I don't need to know how their life goes on.
I see that. Okay. Someone else goes on to say, I would probably say Stranger Things as a whole is bigoted OP given the prevalence of lunatic Zeos in both the cast and the production.
What is Zeos?
I have no idea.
I'm glad that I don't know any of this shit.
Yeah.
It's a pizzeria.
Oh. I think he's shortened Zionist.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I would ever watch a TV series with such an overwhelming presence of racist and bigoted people. If they managed to get rid of the Zionists and replace them with Palestine actors instead, then perhaps it would be good.
What a stupid fucking comment.
Right? Look at that propaganda. Crazy.
That just...
Yeah.
People that talk like that around me, like, you lose all credibility.
Yeah. You're an NPC, aren't you?
Right.
Like, you have no free thought.
That's truly a bot comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next comment says, I'm honestly not seeing any sexism in 11's ending. It's reasonable to find it unsatisfying, but that's not the same thing. There's a social justice issue with the ending. It's about what happens with Callie.
Who's Callie?
If there's a social justice issue with the ending, it's about what happens with Callie. Oh, Callie is 11's sister.
The one they found in the machine?
Yes. I'm almost certain that's Callie.
Why would there be a social justice issue with that? She was a captive.
I have no idea.
Why can't we just tell a fucking story without adding a whole bunch of stupid bullshit inside of it? You know why Shogun did so well? Because they didn't do any of this.
Yeah.
Shogun is one of the highest rated TV shows of all time, and it only had one season so far. Yellowstone, same thing. Didn't have any of this bullshit in it.
Right.
Like every TV show that I've gotten into that like I really got into that started bringing this shit into it, I lose interest. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
Yeah.
I have to deal with this every time I get on the computer. Every time I open TikTok. Every time I open Instagram. I don't want my fiction to be fucking political.
Right. Fucking right. Yep.
So fucking dumb. I'm over this. This one I'm scrolling past. Because I'm now annoyed by that.
This one says questions. Hi, everyone. I'm trying to better understand feminist perspective on some topics related to gender roles and society. I'd really appreciate thoughtful insights. 1, how does feminism view differences between men and women when it comes to careers like the military or other physically demanding jobs?
This is a clickbait post. This is every argument that's ever been on the whatever podcast, on the fucking Fit, Fresh and Fit. Like,
well, like, what do you mean? How does feminism view differences between men and women when it comes to these kinds of things, right? Or other physically demanding jobs that there's differences, period.
Right. Well, they reduce the standards so that women can get into those jobs. That's the difference.
Well, that makes sense. Just like how they lowered the standard of education to past children.
Yep. That's the difference.
Yeah.
If you have to do 100 pull-ups to be able to get into a certain part of the military, just because you're a female doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to do 100 pull-ups to do that job. Mm-hmm. You want equality, that means true equality.
Yeah.
I don't think that we should be reduced. I don't think that we should be doing a whole lot of things in the military. All these fucking stress cards and like all that bullshit. I don't think we should be doing any of that. Yeah. That's my opinion. So.
Yeah, I don't believe in equality. I believe in equity. And I think that if women are entering the military, it should be a different standard for women to enter into the military, not lowering the standard for men in order to make the women criteria meet it. When you lower the standard for a man to get in, that means more weaker men are going to be able to get into there.
Well, they're lowering the standard for women. So like if a man's got to do 100 push-ups and a woman's only got to do 50, I'm not okay with that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that they were lowering it to 50 across the board, so men only have to do 50.
No, they lower it for women. I'm not about that. If you and I are in a combat situation and I'm wounded and you have to drag me and I'm in full kit with a weapon that's fully loaded magged in my fucking thing, you're not dragging me.
Yeah.
I'm going to die because I have somebody that was able to do 50 push-ups instead of 100 and couldn't run and squat and carry. So now I'm laying there fucking wounded waiting for somebody else to come get me because you're not strong enough to drag me out of combat.
Yeah, that's true. Next one. What are feminist perspectives on leadership within households? How do feminists think about traditional roles like head of household? I don't want to read these. This is our whole podcast.
This is all clickbait.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat said they don't quite do it like that anymore. Don't quite do it like that anymore, or they don't do it at all like that anymore. Because if they don't quite do it like that and there's still stipulations attached to it, doesn't matter that it's not quite like that. The fact of the matter is it's not even across the board, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the end of the document.
Oh, okay.
We're an hour and 24 minutes in. We have other documents if you want to try to get into something simpler. Let's see what else we got.
All right. Okay.
So we have men mental health articles. Those are for 10 gram trip revelations. Am I the asshole pages? Doing your best rant, ego death. 3 reasons why the brain loves negative thinking. We have a lot of Psychology Today stuff. Music effects. We're trying to make our content a little bit longer for you guys. We had a whole lot of people who were like, man, I miss the longer content. I used to clean my whole house while you guys were live over 4 hours or recording for 4-hour episodes. Remember those?
Yeah.
In the beginning?
Yeah, I have a lot more on my plate now than I did back then.
Same.
This one says, finally got the courage to ask for a separation from my covert narcissistic husband. And now, all right, so this says, we've been in therapy for months. It has become more than evident that he is never going to take accountability, let alone change. What therapy did for me is make me realize the emotional erosion and manipulation. He's not diagnosed as a covert narc, but I'm 100,000% convinced. So separation is said out loud, enter victim mode. Ever since this, I get asked the questions, will you date? Asked every day with the same answer and repeat. Am I packing all my things? Needs me to be the one to blame. Did you tell anyone? Will you tell the kids?
All right, you want to talk about these? Let's talk about these. Do you think that any of those questions make somebody a covert narcissist?
No.
Why not?
Because, right, so there's nothing here that she has provided as her evidence that this man is a covert narcissist. So just reading, will you date? If I am a woman whose husband just presented me with a separation, that's coming from hurt.
Right.
I don't want to imagine you with anybody else. Am I packing all my things? Also comes from hope.
Right. She said needs me to be the one to blame. He wants to stay.
Right.
Am I packing my things? Do you want me to go? Is this what's really happening right now? Like, This is grasping for straws.
Did you tell anyone? Will you tell the kids? And to me, that comes across as that will be like that's the finalization of it. Once it's outside of us and it's very real.
Right. Right. Because now everybody knows. I don't see any of those as being a narcissistic trait. I see that as somebody being hurt and fucking trying to like hoping and praying that shit doesn't fucking go the way that it goes. Yeah. That's not victim mode shit at all to me.
I agree.
Okay.
Going on, this says, already referring to everything like your room, your remote. I do view that as petty, but I can also see how that's coming from hurt to cope with the fact that life is ending and a new beginning is being forced.
Right. Why would you call it ours if you're keeping everything?
Right. This is not mine anymore.
Right.
Continuing in all caps, when does it end? And how did you do it? How did you separate? He's agreed to leave the house, thank God, and that's credit to his covert narc. I won't be someplace I'm not wanted. If that's what she wants, I'll do whatever makes her happy.
That's not narcissistic.
Continuing, I just want to rip the fucking Band-Aid off already, but fuck, why can't he just man up and do what's right? Why do I need to be the foreman of this too? Also, how did you tell the kids? We have 3 ages, 3, 5, and 9. I already know he will blame me.
This whole, you got the house, he's leaving and you get the house and you still call him a narcissist and complain about the way that you get the house. You get the house. I'm not going to be someplace I'm not wanted is not a narcissistic statement. That's a boundary.
Yeah.
If that makes somebody narcissistic, then I'm narcissistic because I don't want to be in social circles where I'm not appreciated.
Yeah. This looks like a chicken clucking, trying to find other chickens that are going to cluck the same way she does.
Yeah, looking for that echo chamber to validate her bullshit. I'm
good on that. And see, what blows my mind is that people are responding to this and just believing everything, right? So I don't know. This is one of those vague Facebook posts to me. This is for attention because there's nothing of substance here. This is all just your feelings.
Right.
And you assigning meaning to the things that he said.
Right. To get validation on the internet.
Right. To get validation on the internet. This is attention seeking. There is nothing real here.
Yeah. The comment says, I'm divorcing mine. They will always take the easiest way out for them. Yes, you will have to do everything. Everyone wants the easiest way out.
Right.
Across the board, everyone wants the easiest route possible. So when you say shit like that, you're trying to make somebody look bad. If you're talking to somebody who has no IQ or somebody that's angry and emotional, that might actually work. But somebody who's sitting here that's not involved in this, you using like terminology like that to make somebody look bad, you sound like a fucking moron. The OP reply said, did you have to tell him to pack his things when he left? Comment reply, I left and took my stuff. I didn't have young children. Did you have to tell him to pack his things when he left? So she's having to tell this man to pack his things when he moves out. If in a situation, I don't even want to put this on us because I hate this so much. In a situation where somebody is going through a divorce and they have to find another place to live, expecting them to pack up all their shit, find a storage unit, live in their car or a motel while they look for an apartment or a roommate or whatever the case may be until they get into a place only to move everything out of the fucking storage unit and then have to unpack and do all that shit is an unrealistic ask. Mm-hmm. If you are in a situation where you've been with somebody for 15, 20 years and you guys are getting a divorce, the least you can do is give a little bit of grace while they look for a fucking place to live and then allow them to come and pack their shit and get out of the house. Like, why wouldn't you just be civil? And like, I understand that what you're about to go through is really fucking hard. You're uprooting your entire existence to go and do this fucking thing. You can leave your shit here. Just let me know when you're coming and I can dip out for 5 or 10 minutes. Like, I just don't get it. I don't want to read these comments.
Okay. This one says, it doesn't quote unquote feel like enough to ask for a divorce. Even though I've talked it through with my therapist, it's more than just being unhappy. I just feel like I don't have a good enough reason to want a divorce.
Then don't get one.
He's not a cheater. He rarely goes out. He's an okay dad. He makes decent money, but I'm unhappy. He doesn't help out with the baby as much as I want. He doesn't have conversations around feelings without getting defensive. He's never given our 9-month-old a bath. He doesn't ask how my day is despite me asking him to ask. He doesn't do the dishes or randomly pick up. He doesn't kiss me. We rarely have sex. He doesn't hold my hand. He doesn't sit next to me on the couch. He doesn't tell me he loves me. He left me feeling abandoned during my early postpartum days. And to be honest, I still think about my ex from 8 years ago.
There it is. That's the truth of it.
Oh my God. And I bet that man can feel every single ounce of thought and energy you're pouring into that ex from 8 years ago. Right? And I bet he has a whole laundry list of things that you don't do anymore.
Right. She just literally blamed him for fucking everything. Only to be like the one thing that she can actually take accountability on is the fact that she's thinking about her ex. This is every man's worst fear when he commits to a woman. I'm going to get married. I'm going to fucking make good money. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that my family has everything that I can give them. And I will stay even though I'm fucking unhappy and miserable because that's my duty as a man. And she's going to find herself unhappy or bored and leave me for somebody else. That's the manosphere argument. That's the fucking red pilled. That's the men go our own way. That's why young men aren't fucking approaching women anymore. Like, that's the fear of men in dating.
And here it is.
And here it is.
I wonder when was the last time she initiated. That's something I always ask women. He hasn't touched me. We haven't had sex, this and that. Well, when was the last time you touched him?
Yeah.
Yes, grass is always greener, but I feel like I have never had the same connection with my husband as I did with my ex.
Then why'd you marry him?
Why did you have a baby with him?
Right.
So there are reasons, but why do I feel like it's not enough?
Because you realize that what you're doing is you're fantasizing about your ex and not about your man, and you feel guilty about it. That's why it's not enough, because you don't want to actually leave your husband. You want the excitement of the previous relationship.
Right.
Do you want to
read that?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one says, as I'm navigating this, I'm learning being unhappy is enough. Wanting more than the bare minimum, which sounds like you've repeatedly asked for, is enough. Wanting to be happy is enough. We all deserve happiness. Will it be better on the other side? I don't know. No one knows. But what I do know is I can't keep living the life I am living now pretending to be happy, spending time with someone I don't want to spend time with. I'd rather be alone in my own home than alone and lonely in my marriage.
I get it. I totally understand that. But what she's doing is running from her problems instead of doing growth and self-work to fucking figure out what's wrong to improve her life. We have no idea what she's doing in this relationship other than fantasizing about her ex. So if he is 100% the problem and she's done absolutely nothing wrong, which we know is never the case, and she leaves this situation and goes on to the next guy, all of the shit that she's currently doing will eventually show up in her next relationship.
Yep.
So what you're saying is you burned a bunch of bridges, set a bunch of fires, and now you don't want to deal with the chaos that has ensued because of your decisions, and you're going to run from it. That's what I read from that.
Okay. The reply to this?
Yeah.
Yes, I'd rather be alone in my house than lonely in my marriage. It is a clean aloneness. There is no loneliness like a lonely marriage. And someone else replied and said, yes, I was just telling a friend this. They are feeling the same way. It's different, special, and not the good kind of loneliness. It makes you feel so sad, unloved, unworthy, etc. I anticipate feelings of loneliness when I am done and moved out, but I also think it will be different. A lot of I remember when loneliness, but it will pass with time. Someone else said, this is exactly my story. He's never given her a bath. She's almost 3. Did you guys ask?
Yeah, I don't want to keep reading these comments. I do want to talk on that bath thing, but go ahead, because I don't. Was that the end of your thought?
No. Yeah. No, you're good. Go.
We don't know anything about any of their lives.
Right.
What if they work 60 hours a week and they come home and their kids are in bed and they don't know their children because they're too busy working to provide a life to make sure that the kids have clothes on their back and there's food in the house? And what about that? What if that's a thing? What if they have traditional roles in the marriage and your job is to take care of the kids, not mine? There's a whole lot of what if in all of that. So to get on the internet and make shell statements and get mad about it is bullshit.
Yeah.
People they see something similar to their life and they look for something that they can latch on to another person because misery loves company. This is fucking pathetic to me.
Yep, I agree.
People who get on the internet, like, this is why we skip so many emails.
Yeah.
This is why so many people who write in get your shit rejected.
Yeah.
Because if you write in and you shift blame all of your things that's wrong in your relationship onto another person, how the fuck do you expect us to help you? Because you're blaming somebody else for everything that's wrong in your life and they're not the ones writing in.
Yep.
If they're the ones writing in like, hey, I'm doing these things and I realize it's affecting my wife in this way and what can I do and blah, 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 blah. We can problem solve with them because they're the one doing it. We break down both sides of what's being said in a relationship in these emails and like we can give general advice based off of the picture presented. Mm-hmm. The picture presented here is that you're with somebody that does everything fucking wrong and you're an angel.
Yep.
You're fucking not. Everyone is a problem in a relationship. And I don't want to hear, well, they do more than I do and I only react and this and that and this and that. That's bullshit. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore today. I'm now fucking annoyed by all of these.
Okay.
So we can come back to this at another time. I'm not going to delete the document, but
okay.
If you guys enjoy this content, let us know in the comments. If you guys made it this far. I have no idea how long the episode's going to be. We're at 1 hour and 45 minutes right now, which is one of the longer episodes we've recorded in a hot minute. You have anything you want to add? Anything you want to talk about?
Nope.
No? You want to do lunch? With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.